still get calls at 7 in the morning.
Did you just say, I love hot sauce?
Surprise.
Your business, you have to make money.
I don't know that that's a good idea.
Pop, right in the trash.
Only a control freak, but it works.
So, dumb question.
Okay, that's a whole other show.
Talk to your healthcare professional before you do anything like that. You're listening to The Hot Sauce Show, the place to meet hot sauce makers and enthusiasts. Let's jump right in. Hey everyone, welcome to The Hot Sauce Show. My name is Zach, I am your host. Today we are in Little Rock, Arkansas with Jason Cummings from Supertasterz. Jason, thanks for having me today.
Welcome to Little Rock, Arkansas, Zach.
Yeah, thank you. This is great. This is my first official visit to Arkansas. I was in Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, where they all meet a few years ago, but this is the real deal. And meeting a business owner here and someone that's in the food business, this is like a dream come true. So awesome. Thanks for taking a few minutes to chat. So normally what I like to start out, everyone knows, is how'd you get into this?
So prior to the pandemic, I was a food broker. So I represented 75 different food manufacturers, some condiment manufacturers, Texas Pete, Kraft Heinz, several different food manufacturers. Was laid off during the pandemic, and a friend of mine was like, you should start a hot sauce company. And I was like, look man, I know the challenges there, and there are several. I don't know that that's a good idea. And so that's something that just kind of stuck with me, and I kept thinking about it. I was thinking about what were my challenges when I had hot sauces to sell, because I had a couple. And I thought, all right.
So you already had some sauces.
Yes.
And then your buddy was like, you should pursue this.
When I was a broker, I represented some brands that had hot sauces.
Yeah, but you didn't have any of your own at that point.
No.
So it was, and so what made them think you should do hot sauce? Did you just say, I love hot sauce, or?
I mean, yeah, I do love hot sauce,
yeah.
and he and I share that bond. So he was like, yeah, you should do a hot sauce. And I was like, look, man, I think I know more about the challenges there than just, you should start a hot sauce.
Yeah. So then how did it, what was the kind of epiphany you had to move forward with it?
I realized, all right, so anytime I called on a Mediterranean type operator, a pizza restaurant or like a Greek restaurant or anything like that, there really wasn't any hot sauce for me to take in there except for like wing sauce or ranch. Everything was just another cuisine's hot sauce or like some legacy hot sauce that you would just repurpose and put on your food.
And did you think, were people asking for it, or were you just thinking like this would be good?
I thought it would be a fit. I really thought there would be, and I mean, I do think that there is a niche there. Because you go into a pizza restaurant and usually you look on the table, what do you see? You see like a Parmesan cheese bottle and crushed red pepper flakes. Like you don't really have like a sauce option.
Like liquid red pepper flakes.
Right. I mean, what you do have is like ranch or hot honey, but nothing really that was cuisine appropriate, I thought, for like pizza or Mediterranean cuisine.
So where did you start from there?
So from there, I kind of, like all things you do in life, I started a spreadsheet, and I was like, all right, so if I'm going to make a Mediterranean hot sauce, what are all the relevant flavors that tie in to Mediterranean cuisine? If I were standing in a Mediterranean market somewhere in the Mediterranean and closed my eyes and just took in all the smells, it sounds like what smells, what flavors, what I have, and just so I kind of built it like that.
That's brilliant.
Thanks.
And then, so before working as a broker, did you have experience in the food industry, like creating food or anything, or was this like cold turkey food creation?
I went to culinary school for a little while, and I
also
owned a pasta company. So scratch pasta, made that, sold at retail, and sold to restaurants as well.
Wow. And then so how long from when you thought to yourself, or you had your suggestion of I should make hot sauce, to when you had a product that you thought was pretty good?
It took about 3 months, like, to dial it in and get it to where it was, and then just small tweaks from there just to get it production ready. But yeah, the first versions, you know, my wife, God bless her, she does not like vinegar forward hot sauces. So the first version was very vinegar forward. Had her try it. So we were working at home during the pandemic, and gave her some, and she coughed and spat it out, and she was like, you know, I don't like vinegar forward hot sauces. And I was like, all right, she's not the only one. A lot of people don't like hot sauce because of that just vinegar forward component.
That sauce you gave her, did you like it?
I mean, I did, because I was excited, and I put some flavors in there that I thought were great and were relevant.
And she was like, this isn't it.
Yeah, and I realized if I'm going to have, like, my primary test subject is my wife, it needs to be something that she loves too. So I kind of made it for her, like exactly to her palate. A lot of people don't like vinegar forward hot sauces.
Right.
So I was like, all right, maybe we tap into that market of people that don't like vinegar forward hot sauces.
So what changes, without revealing any trade secrets of your sauce, what changes did you make then to make it less vinegar forward?
Well, it has less vinegar in it. It's still shelf stable, and it's, a shelf stable pH.
Right. Gotcha.
Food safe, but as far as the flavor profile is concerned, it's Calabrian chili peppers and cayenne chili peppers, more lemon juice than vinegar. Garlic, onions, and a little bit of porcini mushroom just for depth and umami, kind of like you'd get from MSG and ranch, but naturally occurring.
Naturally occurring. Wow. So then so the first time she tried it, she was like, this isn't it. Yeah. How many versions did you go through till she was like, this is it?
I'd say about 6 or 7 versions, but ultimately it was at least 30 by the time it went into production.
And do you think, was it just like between the vinegar levels and different herbs and that sort of thing? Is that just where you're just doing lots of experimenting?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So anytime she would cough, I knew it was a little bit too vinegar forward and I needed to adjust it some.
So was the vinegar forward not so much the heat level?
Right.
So gotcha. So the vinegar, so the heat, where would you put that sauce in, like a heat level kind of thing?
We've had it Scoville heat tested at a lab in New Mexico, and it's 2,470. So it's right about in line with Sriracha or Tabasco. So it should be easy to tolerate for most folks.
Gotcha. How was that whole experience of sending in? I've never done that before. Do you send a bottle to them and they open it and they dry it out? Is that the process?
They've got lab equipment. You just send in a specimen, if you will. I know that sounds very
clinical, but it is. Yeah, and that's what it is.
You send in a sample to them, and they test it, and they email you just results back. They give you an exact score.
Wow.
It's not terribly expensive.
And what do you do with that number? I mean, is that something that you're at markets and you tell people, or do you tell because you're in you were in, you're out of it, and now you're kind of back in the industry? Is that something industry people want to know? When you're talking to somebody, or because that number is it's so specific and I think there's going to be more and more people testing their sauces that. But what's your vision of what to do with that number?
It's a number that really doesn't mean a lot to people that don't really follow along with hot sauce. So I use kind of those benchmarks of this is how hot Tabasco is, and this is how hot Huey Fong Sriracha is, and it's right in between the two.
So you said it's at 2,000.
2,470.
Do you have your passwords now?
Right. That's a great idea.
Don't tell anyone! ! Question mark. So you said Sriracha is about the same.
Yes.
And then where's Tabasco?
It's I think it's just a little bit hotter, like 10.
Like 1-0.
Right.
10. Oh, so it's pretty close.
Right.
Gotcha. What's your rating for your other sauce?
We didn't get it tested.
Okay.
It's much more mild. It's kind of in line with your Louisiana or your Texas beet.
Yeah.
It's not as hot as Tabasco for sure. We're in the pleasure business, not the pain business. We want people to use and enjoy our sauce.
And the big thing, and I've talked about this so many times, is you want people to use it, and it's at the end of the day, you love the sauce, you love making a great product, and it's fun, and you can say all those things, but your business, you have to make money.
Right.
And the vast majority of folks will want a milder sauce that they can, use a bottle in 1 or 2 dinners.
Right.
And then you're selling another bottle. So that I know that's a whole big thing with getting to that perfect sweet spot where the flavor and the balance of flavor and heat and all that is really right there. That's really fascinating. And I feel with everything going on in the industry, with so many hot sauces coming to market and everything, I would really like to see, just like we have ABV on alcohol and things like that, I would love to see an official Scoville rating on hot sauces.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be such a good normalization of that, because I think in the community there's a lot of, I don't know about confusion's the right word, but between a pepper and into a sauce, what's that Scoville rating? What is the what does cooking do to capsaicin?
Right.
You know, I feel like I looked it up once, and capsaicin doesn't break down to about 400 degrees.
Gotcha.
So it's like, okay, bringing your bottle up to, or your sauce up to 185, 190 or whatever, to do your pasteurization and stuff. How are you affecting the capsaicin? Like, okay, it doesn't break down till 400, but is it degraded? Like, I feel like there's so many questions that I have. Is just, I love learning and always learn, and I love details and specifics and technical. But yeah, I think it's funny. I've talked about doing that as like having like a Scoville rating, like on sauces where you sell on a website and stuff, and it's like, hey, you can only be in this section of the website. If you have, your official Scoville rating. Like, I mean, these labs could come up with like a whole seal. Like, I think that would be great for the industry. Another thing that I thought that would be cool for hot sauces is just like wines and everything, is if they had like a year on them. And I've talked about that before, where it's like, okay, like you're saying, is it Calabrian?
Calabrian.
Yes. Calabrian peppers. It's like, okay, the 2013, Calabrian peppers were really hot that year. Yeah. And I always thought that'd be cool. It's like, because it's such a blossoming and budding industry. Let's take the charge as an industry and kind of like set these kind of standards. Because that's the thing is, you could have a ghost pepper sauce. You can have 1% of 1%, and you are technically being truthful. Yeah. That it's a ghost pepper sauce, but there's no set thing on that. Anyway, awesome. So what's the other sauce you have here? It's the Arkansas Diamond Fire?
Yes, Arkansas Diamond Fire, champagne pepper sauce. So the feedback that we got with our first product, Opera Sauce, was it's a little bit hot for some people. And so I thought, all right, we need something that's a little bit more mild, and we got so much feedback with, we'd love to support local businesses. And we tested out putting just a sticker of the state of Arkansas on it, just to see if it would help to sell the product more in market, and it was well received. And so we incorporated that into our branding. So really, Arkansas Diamond Fire, like it's all about Arkansas. I mean, it's like, I grow some of the peppers. Arkansas was originally a French territory, so we use champagne from France in that hot sauce.
Actual champagne.
We use a lot of champagne.
A lot of champagne. All right. I'm really excited to try it. So I'm a big branding and label guy. So walk me through it. So you said you put the state of Arkansas on it. So did it look like the Opera Sauce was first?
Right.
So did you have like an Opera Sauce label, and then you put a slapped Arkansas on it?
I just put a sticker of Arkansas on an Opera Sauce bottle, just to see what kind of traction that would have, and it did help to sell products.
Really? Yes. Because people saw it and they're like, oh, this is Arkansas.
It said local on it. It really helped the tie-in.
Yeah, that's really good, especially if you're like, we're in one of your customers today, a pizzeria here in Little Rock that carries your sauces. Yeah, that's amazing. You were able to do sort of like A/B testing. Of a product, but like physically in person, which is just, I mean, that's really hard to do, but that's cool that you could see that. So anyway, so you had Opera Sauce as it is, and then you had Opera Sauce 2.0 with the Arkansas sticker on it.
Correct.
And then side by side, and you're just checking off what sells, and it sold product.
Yes.
So from there, then you said we need to make a label dedicated to that.
Totally. Like, we're not going to get into our story or anything like that. Like, this needs to be about Arkansas. And like this, kind of like you've got Louisiana hot sauce, let's do an Arkansas version. But let's include factoids and state history on there. Like, let's really get into it. Let's make this about Arkansas, because it has its own identity. Like, we don't have a professional sports team in Arkansas, and people are diehard Arkansas fans, depending on which part of the state you're in. Razorback fans or Red Wolves fans. I mean, it is part of the identity. So why not have a hot sauce that's dedicated to that in branding, and then also like flavor preference for the region.
That's really cool. So you have, obviously the branding is very Arkansas. The champagne is the tie into Arkansas being a French territory. And then what else ties into it?
Of the branding itself, like you've got the French flag. So there's a rectangle that's in the center of the bottle, two rectangles. You've got a blue outline, and then you've got a red outline. So from the left side, you've got blue, white, and red, you've got the French flag, and then on the right side, you've got the American flag. So red, white, and blue.
Wow, that's really cool. Is there any technical or administrative challenges to putting champagne in a hot sauce?
It needs to be under a certain % of alcohol, but in the cooking process, the alcohol evaporates.
So the finished product needs to be under a percentage?
Correct.
Gotcha.
But that's a non-issue because
it's
like it's a small ingredient in there, but
right.
for us, it's a lot of champagne.
Sure. So does like a process authority letter flushes that out of what your finished product has?
Exactly.
So that it's a technical 0%
Correct.
alcohol product. And so do you have a commercial kitchen you're making this in, or is it a co-packer's making this?
We utilize a co-packer.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Okay.
So we use a private kitchen for our test kitchen, and then once everything is ready and it's passed like our standards, and we've gone to customers and they love it, then we just send the recipe and samples into our co-packer, and we go back and forth with samples and suggested changes before it's produced.
That's really fascinating. So have you been there when they've made it?
Yes.
Do you like literally pop champagne and dump it in?
Oh, I haven't been there for the Diamond Fire.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
I've been there for opera sauce.
You have. I think you need to go there and like literally pop the champagne.
I think so too.
Because that's what it comes in, right?
Yeah.
Champagne bottles.
I had him take a video of the first
That's
run of it, and I mean there was. I don't know if the guy had opened a champagne bottle before or not, but he opened it up and it like shot everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
It was a mess. They had enough champagne for the run, thankfully.
Yeah.
Because that was like a $70 bottle of champagne.
How many people does the champagne, when you tell people, does that raise eyebrows?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It definitely kind of helps to touch a different category of customer and restaurant, and the liquor stores love that aspect too.
Yeah. Oh, so you sell to liquor stores?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
That's great.
They're retailers.
Yeah. They sell stuff. It just seems so classy. I haven't even tried it yet, but I'm just like, I love this on oysters or
Thank you.
like something like that. So okay, let's try it. We got to try it.
Okay. So you're going to try Arkansas Diamond Fire first.
Okay.
You always want to shake the bottle.
Yep.
Before you dispense it. So it's got salt fermented cayenne peppers. Let's do this one.
Yep.
It's got salt fermented cayenne peppers, vinegar, and a healthy amount of champagne. You don't have to take all that.
Oh, I'm going to take all of it. Are you going to take all yours?
Oh, so I'm going for this. Let's do this.
Cheers.
Right back at you.
Wow.
So there's kind of a funny story about this run. Can
I get more?
Oh, for sure. I'm going to cut you off though, because you're driving.
Yeah, no, it like went into my nose a little bit. Very, very fascinating.
Thanks. Yeah, it's real simple. It's real straightforward, and the champagne kind of balances out just some of the saltiness and vinegardness.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to say you're like your little brother to the south here, but it's kind of like a Louisiana, just to paint a picture for people listening and watching.
Bring it on.
It's like a Louisiana style, not too vinegar forward. Can definitely taste the garlic in there. It's lemon, right?
There's no garlic.
There's no garlic?
Not in Arkansas Diamond.
Really?
It's real simple. It's salt fermented cayenne peppers, vinegar, and champagne. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That is incredibly complex for as simple as a recipe that is. That I would have lost money on that if you're like, name the 4 ingredients, except there's only 3. Really, really tasty. Thanks. And it's and the champagne, it's I don't think I would be able to pick that out if by name. I don't think I'd be able to pick that out if you just gave it to me like, what do you think of this? Yeah. And you're like, there's a special ingredient in there you've probably never had in a hot sauce. And I'd go, okay, and I'd try it and go, wow, this is really unique. It's got a great flavor, and I would probably name everything before champagne, but very, very, very tasty.
It's a fruit, so it ties in with peppers.
Yeah.
Pepper's also a fruit. But yeah, we made this one specifically for like Southern food, Arkansas's favorite foods, fried catfish, fried chicken, just rich foods that really need that kind of acidic component to balance it out.
Yeah. The other one is similar.
Opera sauce?
But hotter.
It's
with no champagne.
It's not similar.
Oh, not similar. Oh, this was just, sorry, you need, I was thinking, people love this, they wanted a milder sauce.
Okay.
That's what you had said.
That's true, yes.
Got it.
But
got it.
yeah.
But they're different, very different sauces.
Yes, they are.
Gotcha. That's where the juice came in. Gotcha. What are you doing right now to kind of get the word out? Are you doing like shows? Are you knocking doors in restaurants? Or how's that been?
So social media, and we engage with a lot of different influencers. Like we focus on the pizza industry, home, like produced pizza, like just hobbyists, and also restaurants. So like we use restaurants heavily as far as getting the word out. We do.
And how has that been with, it's really interesting because you're maybe one of the first, one of the first makers I've talked to that has really gone hard in the paint with restaurants and things and similar places, and that's clear from your background. So talk to me a little bit more about how that has been. I mean, just at the granular level, are you knocking on doors and you're like, hey, check this out, or how does that work?
Yes. So about half of our business is restaurants. So I usually approach a restaurant, let them know, hey, I made this, I crafted this product for your cuisine, for this type of cuisine, and would you please try it out? And if I'm there in person, then we'll try it with food that I've brought, or I'll order something from their restaurant, just kind of pop in and be like, surprise, try this real quick. Try this on your catfish, try this on your chicken. And they'll try it, and then I'll explain it to them. But really, you shouldn't have to explain anything. It should just work, and it should kind of change the conversation from this is all about it to how do I get this? And that's kind of the way we like things to go.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm assuming after trying it, the reception's good?
Yes, it is. So Arkansas Diamond Fire, it's been out for just about 6 months.
And it's doing well?
It's doing really well.
Yeah.
Like it's selling 3 times faster than opera sauce.
Really?
It is, yes.
And do you think the champagne, that's the X factor? Or do you think the branding, or what do you think it is?
The champagne hurts nothing.
Yeah.
Hurts nothing. We've had a lot of people say, like, I could drink this stuff. And then I've had some people say, I drink this stuff. And I'm just like, look, you can do that. I don't know that you should.
Talk to your healthcare professional before you do anything like that. Yeah, I was going to say, like, man, you need to take the dripper top off that, because when that comes to my house, it's going to be pop right in the trash.
Yeah, that was one of those things. Like our test batches, our test bottles, like they didn't have like the orifice, if you will, like the volume reducer. And so I'd give it to people, and I'd have to give them a disclaimer, like, look out, it comes out fast. And I put that on like the test label, and people wouldn't see it, and they'd just dump it.
I know.
And a lot of people were like, well, that's really good, I'm fine with that. But I didn't, since it's in so many restaurants and people wouldn't read it, I didn't want people to have an issue and send food back.
Right, like when I was like 6 years old and would loosen the pepper tops, and at the pizza place they dump on. And now I just do it on purpose. It's almost like, I mean, don't do this because it will overcomplicate your life, but it's almost like you need like the orifice reducer spec for the restaurant spec, and then the general public spec, like, because I mean, sauces like that, especially because it's like thin, but it's not super thin.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's a pour, just rip right through it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. What have you had any? I know we're kind of touching a little bit, but have you had any obstacles with? I always like to ask people, going from your private kitchen to a co-packer, was there anything that was like, oh gosh, they are not getting this right, or this is anything at all, challenges?
For sure. The first run of opera sauce, the first sample run, I got it back and it wasn't right. Like there were some things that were off about it, and I couldn't figure out exactly what could have happened, what could have gone wrong. And so I asked him for like his recipe that he had, because they take your recipe and then they just turn it into a percentage so they can scale it accordingly. And so I asked for the recipe, and he sent it to me, and I identified where 2 ingredients were reversed. And I said, all right, these ingredients, you've got them backwards. You need to reverse that, and that should solve the problem.
So, dumb question.
Sure.
Why did you ask him for your recipe?
Well, I mean, I give it to them in grams, right? And I'm cooking it at home in a much smaller batch.
Okay.
But then they put it into a percentage so they can make whatever size batch they want. If they want to make a gallon, they can make a gallon. If they want to make an 80-gallon kettle of it. They can make an 80-gallon kettle of it.
Got it. So your formula,
Yes.
it was just you wanted to see, let me see your calculator for your scaling.
Yes.
And they had mucked up the...
They just reversed two numbers. It happens. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure anytime anyone's gotten a recipe at home, something's been off a little, it happens.
And that's really interesting that you were that you caught that before a full-on production run. Yeah, that's
For sure.
yeah, that's really good. Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, I've talked to folks before about exploding hot sauce bottles and stuff not sealed right, and there's a lot can go wrong, but you have that benefit of coming from the industry and being like, this is what I need to check.
I mean, my goal when I made it was try to make this something that would be easy for them to produce, like knowing the equipment and the process they have in mind, so there are less surprises when it comes time to produce it. It still happens, still get calls at 7 in the morning, you're like, hey, and they're like, what, how do I do this? And I'm just like, it's your process, it's your production.
Right.
Good luck.
Good luck, yeah. Now, how are you, so talk me through, co-packer makes it. How are you handling with all these restaurants? Because I know a big obstacle with restaurants is, getting distribution basically.
Right.
Where, you get to a point where you can't drive around and make all these deliveries. So do you have a single distributor that once someone gets on board, they ordered from, or how do you work that?
In my past job, I'm used to working with distributors, partnering with distributors, and I know all the obstacles and challenges and minimum movement that's required to do that. So I ship, unless I'm going to be in whatever market it in that I'm selling product to, I'll just ship it via UPS to get it there. I mean, I've shipped stuff 20 miles away if I didn't have time to call on them.
So you're your own distributor right now?
Absolutely.
And just fulfilling stuff, because you're like, I know these guys aren't doing anything special.
Call me a control freak, but it works.
Yeah, no, if it works, that's excellent. So what are you doing, you're knocking on doors in the restaurants and everything, you said all that's about half your business right now. What's the other half of your business?
It's small independent retailers, and I mean, I wouldn't say that it's half, because we also retail a little bit as well, but it's independent retailers.
Gotcha. And you said liquor stores, that's fascinating.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense. Is there any other unique retailers that are like, oh, not sure I would have thought of that?
Really, it's just your small kind of boutique style, but we also do a good chunk of retailing, like from our restaurants. So people go into the restaurant, they try our sauce, it's part of their experience.
And they want to buy it.
And they want to buy it.
Yeah.
And so that just generates revenue for that restaurant where it didn't before.
Have you done any markets or shows or farmers markets, or are you just kind of skipping that channel altogether?
We've done a couple of markets. Farmers markets are not really my focus. I mean, my thoughts are I can go sell 1 or 2 restaurants or retailers, and it's going to surpass what it would take me a year sitting at a farmer's market.
Right.
Yeah, I come from the world of like selling a large account is the goal. So my goal is to move cases of product, not single bottles.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great strategy. And then like the restaurant, let the restaurant be your showcase and your cheerleader.
Yes.
And what better place where it's on the table so people try it. The restaurant is, covering that expense basically of trying it. You're getting paid, and then they're buying more of it. And then the restaurant's making money. They go home with it. Everyone gets paid and is happy. That's what a great strategy. Anything else you want to tell me about the opera sauce before we dig into it?
So opera sauce, it's a Mediterranean hot sauce, and it's a very plain, stark label, if you will. It's, as you can see, it's just blue, like at the top, 80% of the label, and then it's green. So from an aerial perspective, like you've got the Mediterranean Sea. You've got shallow water to deep water, like of the Mediterranean. Like it's incredibly simple. The flavor's complex. The label, it's so simple that we've sent our artwork, our completed artwork, when we were thinking about switching print companies. I sent the print company the artwork, and I got a call back from the point person who was like, "There's really nothing here. What am I supposed to do with this? Could you send the file?" And I was like, "That label's ready to go, man.
Yeah.
All you got to do is print."
So that's cool to know about the shallow and the deep and stuff. And then the rest of it was just to be kind of bold and make a statement. Is that kind of the?
So originally we had a label that was probably what you would expect from a hot sauce. It was somebody breathing fire. It was an opera singer breathing fire. And
you have to send me a picture of that.
And I went through like 8 different artists, and I couldn't get it exactly the way that I wanted. And I still didn't think that it stood out on the shelf. And so just reading reviews about other hot sauce companies, I noticed there was one brand in particular that people were like, I love the bottle, but the sauce just isn't good. I was like, all right, so there's something here. Let's focus on the aesthetic of it. And so as I dug into colors and started doing research on colors, like I came across some reviews on like Pantone, you know, the color charts, and people were buying like these Pantone squares to decorate their house with. And I was like, just that pop of color is enough for people, like to decorate, like that's enough. And so
back up on that, they would buy like a square?
They would buy squares, like they'd buy like 25 different color squares, and they would just put them on their wall. And I was reading reviews, and people were decorating with this. And I was like, let's just focus on the color and tie it into relevant Mediterranean colors.
Yeah.
And let's do a format, like a word format that's similar to what they would do like on the Pantone color card. So it stands out, it's visually striking. If you're standing 8 feet away from it, like
what is that?
Looking you know, at all your different hot sauce choices, it's gonna stick out more than others. So instead of trying to fit in and stand out, like totally stand out on its own.
Now, is there any Mediterranean, Italian, Greek hot sauces out there that you've tried that were any inspiration for this, or are they not really into the hot sauce like we are?
Mediterranean, no.
They like chili oils and stuff.
Right. There were a couple that were Italian and one that wasn't, and we tried it. This is before I even made my like second batch, and I thought, all right, I know I can do better than this. I know I can make this more relevant, and how I market it can definitely help to sell the product more than these competitors. And
it's on the table at a bunch of restaurants.
Yes.
Are any, so as a table sauce in a good way, not a bad way, not something like table sauce, like it's a good thing. Are any restaurants using it or incorporating it in their dishes?
Yes, we sell it by the gallon too. So we have restaurants that will buy it by the gallon, and they'll portion it out like ranch and sell it like ranch, and that helps. And then we've got restaurants that use it back of the house. They'll use it in salad dressing, soups, meatballs, spicy aiolis. It's got enough garlic to where if you add it to mayonnaise, it's basically a spicy aioli.
You are speaking my language.
The lemon juice ties in nicely with the mayonnaise.
Calamari,
It's so good on calamari.
Yeah, that mixed a little bit of mayonnaise sounds phenomenal.
But we end up using it as an ingredient as much, if not more, than we do a condiment at the table.
And that's a fantastic way to get a higher velocity of, or I should say volume, moving product, and that's going to help drive your costs down for the retail side of this. And yeah, all right, well, we got to try it. Let's go.
It's always a good sound.
Did you shake it?
I did.
Okay, good.
Compulsively. All right, so that is yours.
Oh, this is me? Okay, cool. That one I used.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, don't use that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Chunky.
Like this one was made for food, so I usually discourage people from trying it straight to the dome.
Of course.
Because you wouldn't do that with mayonnaise
of
or mustard.
Well, no. It's
I know, right? Okay, that's a whole other show.
Yeah. All right, cheers.
So it has more pepper particulate, particles of pepper, than several other hot sauces. Definitely more than Arkansas Diamond Fire, which doesn't have pepper particulate. I mean, it's very fine.
I just learned the word for that is treasures.
There you go.
Yeah, it's got a lot of treasures in it.
Yeah, the thoughts were this hot sauce should be a natural progression, just kind of an evolution, like from your crushed red pepper at the table. Relevant pizzeria flavors, relevant Mediterranean flavors.
Yeah.
And kind of a tie-in almost to ranch with the garlic, the onions, and the umami from the porcini mushrooms.
Yeah, I'm connecting that immediately to pasta, calamari, pizza. It's literally red pepper flakes in a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, really good.
Thank you.
Wow. Super, super
Do you want another go, or are you good?
Yeah, I'll do
It's got some fiber, right?
Yeah.
It's a superfood, right? It's peppers.
Go again, yeah. Yeah, so for those of you listening, and I know you can't really see, there's a lot of peppers there. A lot of chunks there. It smells great.
So more lemon juice than vinegar. You've got garlic, onions, and a hint of porcini mushrooms. So if you don't like mushrooms, you would really never know. You'd be like, there's some savoriness there that I can't put my finger on.
I would not be able to pull out mushrooms. I would say something savory, whether it's mushrooms or yeast extract or something in there. It's funny because, I agree with you. Like, you don't usually eat hot sauce off a spoon. You're supposed to use it on food. But, like, hot sauce is obviously a food. But this opera sauce, like, I feel like I'm eating food. Like, it's almost like it's its own thing.
It has some substance.
Yeah, it's got substance to it. And, you could really hammer that on a whole lot of stuff. Wow, terrific sauces. Our first show with only 2 sauces. Okay. And really, really good. Super impressed.
Thank you.
So what are your future plans with the brand? Keep expanding here? What else is in the pipeline?
Yeah, so we'll, of course, probably do another hot sauce at some point in the near future, but there's a good chance we'll branch out beyond hot sauce. I come from a background where I've represented and sold pretty much every food product under the sun.
Really?
So I know where the bodies are buried, so to speak. I know what opportunities there are. And so my thoughts are I could go to work for another manufacturer selling their product, or I can make my own product and make it exactly how I want it and control the process from the start and then sell it. If I'm going to be selling someone's food, I may as well sell my own.
Yeah. I mean, you clearly know what you're doing, and you have the background of, cooking in a restaurant and doing all that and selling it. And the biggest thing is finding an opportunity in the market here where it's like you've uncovered it. So that's really, really awesome. Anything else you want to share?
So let's see. Arkansas Diamond Fire, it's been well received by the state. The factoids on there, like it's one of those things where you sit down at a table and you find yourself kind of mingling with whatever is on the table and interacting with it. So people will turn the bottle around, they'll see the factoids, they'll learn something. So I think people often make hot sauces too much about themselves and the journey. But I think there's another story that you can always tell on the bottle once it's in their home.
Yeah, and for being on the table and reading all that stuff, that's really great. Well, you said you're active on Instagram. Where is the best place for people to follow you and stay in touch with the brand?
It's for Opera Sauce, it's at Opera Sauce Co. And then for Arkansas Diamond Fire, it's Arkansas_Diamond_Fire.
Perfect. We'll flash it up on the screen here. Cool. Well, thank you so much for chatting today.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. This is a great Little Rock welcome.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Take care.
Yep, you too. Thanks for listening to The Hot Sauce Show. Be sure to follow us here and on socials to stay up to date on future episodes.